I have a second channel, Cube Comp MTDX. Hey everybody. So over the past few months, I've been getting some comments on this video here. This is a video I posted back in late 2018. It has to do with when the PrimoChill PC ICE Coolant in the MidTower Deluxe pretty much turned into an aquarium. The equivalent of algae, and there's algae inside. It was just a mess. And some people were leaving some comments saying, considering the quality of that build and all the random materials used from a local hardware store, I'm not surprised the system had problems. Well, that is one crusty system the jury rigs. That is some ghetto PC plus a radiator. Oh my gosh! But yeah, some of these comments are saying, "Oh, that's a ghetto system. Ain't no way that coolant was bad." Since I can imagine some of the viewers watching this, and probably some who may have left the comments on the older video, y'all may be young enough to not have experienced the time period when you couldn't just simply pick up stuff off the shelf from a store or Newegg or what have you if you wanted to build a water cooling system in your PC. There was once a time where you didn't have the wide choice of all-in-one coolers and all that good stuff. I mean, there was a time to where if you wanted to water cool your PC, you had to get creative. Now, of course, this system was built during a time when AIOs and stuff were available, but I built this system, I custom built it for a reason, because why is this like, why should we all have to get to source what's off the store shelf when you could rig up something yourself that would work just as good? This system was originally put together in early 2011, so 10 years ago. It was cooling a Phenom 2 Quad 965 and later a AMD FX 8120 from 2012 to 2017, and from early 2018 till present this Ryzen 7 1700X. And this system has been very reliable. I've hardly had any problems with it. So here's the thing about that PrimoChill coolant. When I got it back in late 2017, when I last upgraded this system, I was already skeptical from the beginning on whether I should even use it. I almost just sent it back to Amazon because, of course, when you looked in the bottle, it was almost like you could see a few flakes of something inside of it. It's almost as if it was either a bad batch of coolant, not sure what the deal was, but there were reviews on Amazon of people having similar issues with the coolant, either being bad out of the bottle or going bad within a year's time. So this system sits, of course, right here, not in direct sunlight, and within a year's time the coolant went from crystal clear to just a total mess, and algae and everything else. And it took a heck of a time getting that stuff out. Of course, I took the system set in the kitchen next to the kitchen sink and used my I actually, since my kitchen faucet is a pull-out faucet, I just detached the faucet part and directly hooked the hose into the radiator to back flush the system carefully, which did clean everything out. So let's just say this, from 2011 to 2017, yes, for all that time I ran this thing without flushing the coolant. I had Fluid XP Plus non-conductive coolant, which worked well, except for it left a nasty stain on my tubing. So the tubing got replaced, and both times I used the tubing from Lowe's, which has worked fine, except this time the tubing from Lowe's, they used a different supplier, and the tubing itself clouded up in a matter of months. So the coolant inside is actually not cloudy at all. It's actually just the tubing itself that looks like it's cloudy. So all that time period with the Fluid XP Plus, no problems, no algae, no gunk in the system. and 2 years with a mixture of automotive antifreeze to distilled, which is a quarter antifreeze to 3/4 distilled mix. I've had no problems with that. This system runs constantly, never shuts off unless there's a power outage. And I'll have to show you what the coolant looks like. Let me go grab my flashlight. Okay, so let me go ahead and open up this cap here. So here's a look inside. Looks clean to me after 2 years of operation. No algae in there. Can't say the same for the PrimoChill stuff or the Fluid XP. So some of y'all wanted to blame it on the system because it wasn't because it was built with off-the-shelf stuff from the hardware store. Well, technically the only thing from Lowe's was the elbows, the braze-on fittings, and a tubing. This radiator is actually it was a new old stock automotive AC evaporator. It was never used. I found it in my grandpa's shed a long time ago. I had 2 of them, and it was perfectly clean inside. No problems there. And yes, it does have copper pipes in it. So the coolant itself runs through these copper tubes. The only parts that are not copper are, of course, the fins, which disperse heat. So the water block in there, that Raystorm Pro block, which got installed with the Ryzen, is copper. And the block I used to have in there, which was a crap, can't remember off the top of my head. It was also copper, very similar. Had no issues with that. So another thing I want to mention again is there was once upon a time to where when you want to water cool your system, you had to get creative. There weren't always options available for you to get, such as off-the-shelf radiators meant for PC water cooling and the likes. You had to get creative. You had to find, for example, you'd have to use, let's say, a heater core or something out of the car. People had to get creative back in the day, and I decided to say, hey, why just keep doing why keep doing the same old when I could just build it myself with custom components? That's part of the cool aspect of this whole rig, is the fact that the water cooling system was pretty much custom fabbed myself. Now the reservoir itself came from a Thermaltake Big Water 735. That's how this all started. When I initially had built this water cooling system, it was really just a repurposed Big Water 735 water block, radiator, and all. But it wasn't long after that I fabbed up this this big radiator here, which does a whole lot better of a job at cooling than what came with this water cooling setup. And of course went with the different CPU water block shortly thereafter. And also when I went from the AMD FX A120 to the Ryzen setup, that was when I replaced the water pump with this little SC600 pump, which has been working fantastic. So yeah, what's the big deal about using tubing from Lowe's versus buying the stuff from the let's say Newegg or the specialty shop for PC water cooling? Because in some cases, unless you're dealing with like rigid tubing, it could be the same exact tubing, just with a markup on it. So there you have it. The water cooling system on the MidTower Deluxe has been very reliable. I've hardly had any problems out of it. The only time I ever had problems with it was when I had the PrimoChill PC ICE Coolant in it. And again, as I mentioned, Amazon reviews, people were also complaining about problems with the coolant getting nasty. It was supposed to have been a coolant that was ready to go. I should mention that I flushed this thing out really good when I went from the Fluid XP Plus to the PrimoChill PC ICE. The only thing, matter of fact, the only thing that got transferred over was the reservoir and the radiator. All new tubing and all new CPU block at the time. So anyways, I just wanted to go make this follow-up video because I figured I needed to just do a little follow-up considering some of the comments I've gotten on this video here. So anyways, hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Well everybody, that's it for this video, but don't forget there's a lot more interesting stuff on the channel to check out. Also, if this is your first time visiting this channel, feel free to subscribe to keep your channel, and also don't forget to tick the bell so that way you'll get notified of new video posts. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, but if you really didn't like it, there is the alternative option available as well. Also, feel free to check out my second channel, CubeComp MTDX. There you'll find videos about bicycling, weather, elevator tours, and all sorts of other neat, interesting stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to come back, and thank you for your support.